We can't afford to lose focus on the ongoing controversy linking Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. And make no mistake, distraction is exactly what some would prefer right now. Wrapped up in heated political talk, many voices on the right insist that this subject should be off limits, that we shouldn't question Trump's ties to Epstein. But I refuse to accept that, and neither should you. Especially now, after Bloomberg reported on thousands of previously unseen Epstein emails, around 17,000 in total, that shed new light on his connections and expand this story further than ever before. In today's video, we'll go through what was uncovered, including a list that has people talking. But before we dive in, I'd really appreciate it if you could tap the like button, and if you're new here, consider subscribing to the channel. It helps a lot and allows us to keep bringing you these deep dives. Now, let's start with the bigger picture, the history of Trump and Epstein's relationship, which was broken down in detail by Rachel Maddow.
What happened to the lawyer who got Epstein his bizarrely lenient plea deal when he was first arrested on sex trafficking charges in Florida? What happened to the lawyer who got him that bizarrely lenient plea deal? Well, Trump hired him to be his own lawyer. What happened to the U.S. attorney who gave Jeffrey Epstein that bizarrely lenient plea deal? Trump put him in his cabinet in his first term. Well, who then prosecuted Epstein a second time when he was brought up on federal charges? That was the SDNY line prosecutor who Trump inexplicably fired last week. Who was in charge of the Department of Justice and the Bureau of Prisons when Epstein then killed himself in federal custody? President Donald Trump. Who bragged to a reporter about how much Epstein seemed to like women on the younger side? Who said Epstein was a lot of fun to be with? Who bragged that he was friends with Epstein for 15 years? Who flew on his plane at least 7 times? And who now says that everybody needs to stop talking about Jeffrey Epstein right now? Answers there are Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, and Donald Trump.
For much of his life, Donald Trump was closely connected to Jeffrey Epstein. By Trump's own admission, they were friends throughout the late 1980s, 1990s, and even into the 2000s. That's not speculation or rumor. Those are Trump's own words from back then. But what makes this story so important is not only that friendship, but how it ended. And what happened afterward. Even once that relationship broke apart, Trump still surrounded himself with individuals who had been loyal to Epstein. Now, we can't say for certain why. Was it to keep past connections under wraps? Or was it because Trump understood that if he ever faced serious legal trouble, he might need the same kind of protection Epstein once had? Whatever the reason, the overlap between their circles is undeniable. And that continues today. Trump appears to be just as concerned with protecting Epstein's former associates as he is with protecting himself. Because here's the reality. Once those files are fully examined, once the thread starts to unravel, the whole story risks coming apart. And Trump himself added fuel to the fire, making one of his most shocking and revealing comments yet about a young woman he claimed Epstein had taken from him.
Can you settle that? What was it about? What caused the breach with him?
That's such old history. Very easy to explain, but I don't want to waste your time by explaining it. But for years, I wouldn't talk to Jeffrey Epstein. I wouldn't talk because he did something that was inappropriate. He hired help. And I said, don't ever do that again. He stole people that worked for me. I said, don't ever do that again. He did it again. And I threw him out of the place, persona non grata. I threw him out, and that was it. I'm glad I did, if you want to know the truth.
The line that you would always hear from conservatives on the Epstein issue was that Donald Trump ended his friendship with Epstein. Why? Because he realized he was a bad guy. Now, of course, that is a complete lie. Donald Trump loved Jeffrey Epstein and everything he stood for, his disgusting, vile criminal behavior. But we have contradicting reporting now, of course, from Epstein's brother, who said that Epstein thought Trump was a crook, and from Trump, who says that it was a a personal beef between them over a young woman, much like the type that Donald Trump would buy from Jeffrey Epstein, as we saw from that chat. But if you want further insight to why this relationship ended and who was the one ending it, these emails show it all. And the secret list that Donald Trump was taken off of after this personal fallout. Remove Trump. Epstein bombshell reveals he wanted president's name off high-profile list. Jeffrey Epstein asked convicted trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell to remove Trump from a list of high-profile figures in an email exchange in 2006. According to a bombshell report from Bloomberg published Thursday, Trump has been under renewed scrutiny in recent months for his past ties with Epstein, who died in 2019 following the publication of a body letter Trump had allegedly sent the disgraced finance heir in 2003. Trump has denied any wrongdoing, calling the theories around Epstein a hoax. However, according to a batch of 18,000 emails obtained by Bloomberg, Epstein had mentioned Trump multiple times in private emails in the mid-2000s, including in a request to have him removed from a list of powerful figures. "Please review the list and add or remove peeps," wrote Maxwell in an email to Epstein dated September 14, 2006, alongside a list of 51 powerful figures that included lawmakers and business executives. "Remove Trump," Epstein responded. According to Bloomberg, which exclusively obtained the emails through Vetely and reviewed them with 4 independent experts, the purpose of this list of powerful figures was unclear, Bloomberg wrote, given that the email had no subject line or additional context that would give clues as to why Epstein was compiling a list of names. The email exchange took place just 2 months after Epstein was first charged in Florida. Despite the FBI having identified at least 40 potential minor victims, saw Epstein given a plea deal that saw him serve just 18 months in a prison and allowed to leave on a work release for up to 12 hours a day. That plea deal was offered by then federal prosecutor Alexander Acosta, Trump's labor secretary during his first term, who said he offered Epstein the general's plea deal because he was told to leave it alone, that the matter was above his pay grade, and that Epstein belonged to intelligence. Another mention of Trump came from an email dated August 23, 2007. This time just 1 month before Epstein agreed to his plea deal that also granted immunity to any of Epstein's potential co-conspirators. You have to assume they went to Donald Trump, then G-Man the docs in West Palm Beach, Pascal, etc. Maxwell wrote in an email to Epstein Bloomberg reporters analysis of the email speculate that Maxwell was referring to members of the press contacting those in Epstein's circle following the charges filed against him. Abe Gossman, a real estate investment who sold Trump a Palm Beach mansion in 2004, and Joel Pashkow, another real estate developer who sent Epstein a photo of the disgraced financier holding a novelty check apparently signed by Trump, suggesting Epstein sold them a woman for $22,000. There's a lot to break down here, but let's begin with that list. The one where Jeffrey Epstein reportedly had Donald Trump's name removed. The existence of lists like this has always been discussed, and this latest revelation only adds to the story. Now, we know the friendship between Trump and Epstein eventually ended, but evidence suggests it may have been Epstein who decided to distance himself from Trump. If Trump had truly cut ties in anger, it wouldn't make much sense for Ghislaine Maxwell to need approval from Epstein before removing his name. This looks much more like Epstein himself holding a grudge. In fact, Epstein's own brother has said that Epstein came to see Trump as untrustworthy and decided to cut him off. Even so, years later, around 2007, both federal investigators and reporters still viewed Trump as one of Epstein's close associates. And that's important, Because today, Trump continues to insist that claims of their friendship are fabricated. He even filed a lawsuit against the Wall Street Journal over it, which backfired and brought even more attention to the connection. The reality is that Trump's name has always been tied into this story, and every new document or email that comes out keeps pulling him back into it. What makes this even more concerning is how little attention Trump seems to give to the actual victims, the survivors of Epstein's crimes. As Lawrence O'Donnell recently explained, Trump's indifference speaks volumes.
Weissman made the wise point last night on this program that Donald Trump has done everything he can possibly do to dehumanize people. He did it in his first campaign speech of his career as a presidential candidate, dehumanizing people crossing the southern border, desperate to find a better life in this country, calling them rapists and criminals. He then went on to use Adolf Hitler's language to describe people in this country, including people who vote for Democratic candidates. He has called us vermin. That is Hitler's word. Donald Trump tries to dehumanize anyone who doesn't vote for him. Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell dehumanized their victims. Donald Trump was very close friends with Jeffrey Epstein. According to Jeffrey Epstein, for 10 years, Jeffrey Epstein said, "I was Donald's closest friend for 10 years. Ghislaine Maxwell, the dehumanizer of those women, some of whom she met when they were little girls, completely ignores the pain of the girls she chose to victimize because she dehumanized them. She didn't think of them as people. The rich heiress who was suddenly penniless when her rich father lost all of his money and then desperately clung to Jeffrey Epstein's money, dehumanized those girls because she believed they were born beneath her station in life and they would always be beneath her." And so tonight, Donald Trump said, "I haven't even thought about that." And that's very believable coming from Donald Trump. That's what Donald Trump said tonight about meeting with Epstein survivors.
We are not going to stop covering this story, and I promise you, this conversation will continue right here on this channel. Some people may want us to tone things down, but this deserves attention and transparency. And we won't be silenced. If you'd like to support our work, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you made it all the way to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments so I know you're with us. Thanks for watching. And until next time, I will see you soon.